Europe, the Old World. A land of kings and conquerors, myths and masterpieces. But what if I told you the best of it still lies hidden? In this journey, we uncover 12 of the most mysterious, breathtaking, and mind-blowing places in Europe. Ones you've probably never seen, but will never forget. From secret monasteries hanging in the sky to towns slowly vanishing into the earth, buckle up. You're about to discover this year's best Europe's hidden wonders. Our journey begins in Greece, but not the Greece of postcards and whitewashed islands. This is the Zagori region, where stone and silence reign supreme. The Vikos Gorge, located in the Vikos Aoyu National Park, is one of the world's deepest canyons relative to its width and depth. The walls plunge nearly 500 meters down, and in some places the canyon is barely 20 meters wide. Cut by the Voidomatis River, whose name means the Silent River, it's a place where time dissolves into mist. Hiking through the gorge takes you past ancient footpaths once used by tradesmen and shepherds, and every twist of the trail unveils towering limestone, untouched forests, and mythic quiet. The surrounding stone villages, known as the Zagori, feel like echoes from another time. Each village connects via arched bridges built in the 18th century, often by master craftsmen who constructed these marvels with no blueprints, only instinct and stone. Legends say these lands were once home to dragons and nymphs, and even today, shepherds speak of strange lights flickering over the gorge on winter nights. Could it be just the wind? Or something older? Tucked behind a rock in the Peloponnesian Sea lies the medieval fortress of Monemvasia, often called the Gibraltar of the East. But unlike Gibraltar, Monemvasia hides itself. From the mainland, it looks like nothing more than a rocky lump rising from the sea. Only once you cross the narrow causeway and pass through the gates do you enter a world lost in time. Founded in the 6th century as a refuge from Slavic invasions, Monemvasia became a bustling port under the Byzantines, the Venetians, and the Ottomans. Behind the city walls, time has barely moved. Winding alleys, ancient cisterns, Byzantine churches with faded frescoes, and the stunning church of Hagia Sophia perched at the top of the cliff, all whisper stories from 1,000 years ago. There are no cars here. Only footsteps. Only the sea. Only the shadows of empires. Local legend tells of a hidden manuscript buried somewhere within the fortress, a lost Byzantine gospel. Scholars have searched for decades, but the walls keep their secrets. And at sunset, when the light bathes the walls in gold, the past doesn't just feel near. It feels present. Now we rise into the clouds. High above the plains of Thessaly, enormous stone columns erupt from the earth like frozen giants. And atop 6 of them sit the monasteries of Meteora, among the most gravity-defying religious structures in the world. In the 14th century, monks fled to these cliffs to escape war and persecution. They climbed sheer rock walls, carved caves into stone, and slowly built sanctuaries where the sky meets silence. Without roads or cranes, they used rope ladders and pulleys to haul bricks, food, and themselves hundreds of meters into the air. At its peak, Meteora housed over 20 monasteries. Today, 6 remain active, and the monks still observe ancient rites surrounded by frescoes that seem to glow with otherworldly light. One of the most striking is the Monastery of the Holy Trinity, a remote structure that appeared in James Bond's For Your Eyes Only. But its real drama lies in its silence, in the echo of footfalls down narrow stairs cut into stone, in the wind that hums like a hymn. Visitors often speak of a strange calm upon reaching the top, as if something divine still lingers in the thin mountain air, as if the stones themselves remember prayers. South to Italy, to a city carved from time itself. Matera, in the region of Basilicata, is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. Here, people have lived in sassy cave dwellings since the Paleolithic era. For much of the 20th century, Matera was considered a national disgrace. Families lived in the same caves as their animals, without water or electricity. But in recent decades, the city has undergone a transformation, turning shame into splendor. Walking through Matera feels like entering a living diorama. The caves are now boutique hotels, cafes, and galleries. Yet many still hold secrets: hidden chapels, underground cisterns, and mosaics dating back to the Byzantine era. Mel Gibson chose Matera to film The Passion of the Christ, but the real stories are older. It is said that beneath the city lies a forgotten maze of tunnels built by the Lombards, an underground Matera, waiting to be found. As you walk the narrow streets lit by ancient oil lamps, you begin to wonder, are we walking forward in time or backward? Northward now, into the heart of Norway. To a place where mountains dive into the sea and waterfalls cascade like silver threads. The Geirangerfjord is often described as the most beautiful fjord in the world. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, its crystal-clear waters are framed by sheer cliffs that rise over 1,000 meters, crowned with snow and mystery. Glaciers carved this masterpiece, and nature continues to sculpt it with every passing season. Along its edges, abandoned farms cling to impossible slopes, silent witnesses to the harsh life of generations past. Among the waterfalls is the legendary Seven Sisters, a veil of water that drops over 250 meters. Across from it, the Sutter waterfall seems to reach out, longing for the sisters but never able to touch. Locals say that on foggy mornings you can hear him whisper. But it's not just the scenery. It's the feeling, the awe of ancient earth, the humbling silence, the realization that for all our power, nature remains the true architect. And in the tiny village of Geiranger, life continues. Boats come and go, tourists gape in wonder, and the fjord, as always, keeps its secrets beneath the deep dark blue. Now to a cluster of 18 volcanic islands adrift in the North Atlantic. Remote, wind-whipped, and utterly mesmerizing. These are the Faroe Islands, a self-governing archipelago under the Kingdom of Denmark. With a population barely over 50,000, they feel like a world forgotten by time. Sheer cliffs dive into the sea, waterfalls tumble from the sky. Sheep outnumber humans, and the villages, turf-roofed and painted in bold colors, seem like something from a fantasy novel. But the Faroes are more than scenic postcards. Their history is rich with Viking lore. Settled in the 9th century by Norsemen, these islands once hosted saga-worthy battles and whispered councils in wind-beaten longhouses. The most iconic site? Geirangerfjord, a village so isolated it once required a 2-hour hike over a mountain to reach. Today, a tunnel carves through the stone, but the mystique remains. There, the Monemvasia waterfall spills straight into the sea, framed by jagged cliffs and clouds. Local tales speak of hidden Huldufolk, the hidden people, elves said to live in the hills. Even now, locals leave parts of land untouched out of respect or fear. Who knows what watches from the mist? As the northern lights swirl over the ocean, the Faroe Islands remind us, isolation can be its own kind of wonder. To Portugal now, and into the pages of a fairy tale. Nestled in the hills just outside Lisbon lies Sintra, a town that feels imagined. With its lush forests, romantic palaces, and secret gardens, it's no wonder Lord Byron once called it the most beautiful village in the world. Sintra's crown jewel? The Palácio da Pena, a whimsical technicolor castle perched high on a mountain, built in the 19th century by King Ferdinand II, a man who dreamed in art and built in fantasy. Its towers and domes blend Gothic, Moorish, and Manueline styles in an architectural mashup that feels more dream than reality. Wander deeper, and you'll find the Quinta da Regaleira, a mystical estate with a palace, chapel, and gardens filled with hidden symbols and alchemical mystery. At its heart lies the Initiation Well, a spiraling descent into the earth used for secret Masonic rites. Every stone in Sintra whispers something. Of poets and painters, of lost loves and occult secrets. Even today, many believe the region hums with ley lines, energy currents that once guided the builders of ancient temples. In Sintra, the veil between history and legend is thinner than anywhere else. Deep in the hills of Aragon, Spain, time stands still. The medieval town of Albarracín is a fortress of pink sandstone perched on a hilltop and encircled by ancient walls that zigzag like a dragon's spine. Once a stronghold of the Berber dynasty in the 11th century, Albarracín blends Islamic, Christian, and Jewish heritage in its winding alleys and steep stairways. It's a labyrinth of history and color. The pink-hued buildings glow at dusk, and blue doors hint at North African influence. Its defensive walls rise to the towers of the Andador, once the tallest point for spotting invaders. Today it offers views not of enemies, but of untouched forests and the Guadalquivir River winding below. Whispers say the town hides treasure buried during the Reconquista. More plausible, perhaps, is the treasure of its preservation. Albarracín is one of Spain's most carefully maintained historic sites. Here, you don't just observe history. You live inside it. To Austria now, and a lakeside town so picture-perfect it was copied by the Chinese. Hallstatt, nestled between the Dachstein Alps and a pristine alpine lake, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and perhaps Europe's most photogenic village. Its history goes deep. This tiny town gave its name to the Hallstatt culture, an early Iron Age society that shaped much of Central Europe. Salt mining here dates back over 7,000 years. You can still tour the ancient salt mine and ride a subterranean slide carved through history. Hallstatt's Bone Chapel, the Bane House, is another reminder of the past. Its walls lined with intricately painted skulls, each marked with names, dates, and floral designs. A tradition born not of morbid fascination, but of reverence. In winter, Hallstatt becomes a snow globe. In summer, a reflection of green and blue, and always timeless. And now, for the final chapter. A place most have never heard of, but none forget. Carved into a cliffside above a gorge in southwestern France lies Rocamadour, a vertical village of miracles and myths. Pilgrims have journeyed here for centuries, climbing the 216 steps on their knees to reach the sanctuary of the Blessed Virgin. It's said that the Black Madonna statue housed here has performed miracles, healing the sick, protecting travelers, and even resurrecting the dead. The town's name is tied to a legend, that the body of Saint Amador, a hermit, was found here, perfectly preserved, sparking devotion and mystery alike. Beneath the sanctuaries lies a labyrinth of crypts, chapels, and hidden tombs. And at the cliff's edge, hawks glide silently, as if guarding something sacred. Rocamadour isn't just a destination. It's a revelation. A final secret from a continent that still knows how to surprise. These places, they don't appear on every postcard. They're not trending hashtags. They're whispers, hidden wonders. The forgotten pulse of Europe. But they're still here. Waiting. Which one will you visit first? If this journey inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with fellow adventurers. There's always another wonder, just around the bend. If you want to continue the exciting journey, click on the next video.